Welcome to Reading the Bible Together, and today we're reading Genesis chapter 27. There's a movie out called I Care a Lot, which is supposedly a comedy, but the main point of which is a woman who gains control of the finances and estates of vulnerable seniors and then swindles them of all their money. The very thought of this fills me with rage, and I can't imagine watching this movie and finding anything humorous in it at all, so I won't watch this movie. Which makes it hard to read this chapter from Genesis, where something similar happens. Isaac has grown old and blind, and the thing which he possesses of greatest value is his deathbed blessing, which will confer upon his son Esau, his favorite son, the blessing which Abraham had conferred upon him. So he calls Esau to his side. He asks Esau to hunt down and prepare Isaac's favorite meal, which he expects to be his last. But Isaac's wife, Rebekah, listens in on the conversation, probably not too hard when you live in a tent, and springs into action. It's time to rip the old man off. Well, maybe I should modify my language. After all, when the twins were still within her, God had told Rebekah that the older will serve the younger. And she took this to heart, and as the boys grew, she poured her favor upon Jacob, even as Isaac favored the eldest, Esau. Now we learned too that, prepared by his mom to watch for the opportunity, Jacob had, for the price of a bowl of stew, obtained an agreement from his famished and somewhat slow-witted brother to transfer the birthright from the eldest to the youngest. There's no question that he reported this to his mother, who waited for her opportunity to seal the deal. And now, with Isaac vulnerable, blind, and near death, the time has come. Determined to help God along by any means, she springs the trap to ensnare her husband's blessing. But for Jacob, not for Esau. When Jacob expresses reluctance, Rebekah answers him, "My son, let the curse fall on me. Just do what I say. Go and get them for me. Let the curse fall on me." She knows, and Jacob knows, that they are up to no good. While Esau hunts, Rebekah cooks up Isaac's favorite dinner, and while it simmers on the stove, she concocts a costume for the clean and hairless Jacob, making him as smelly and hairy as his brother, which is to say, like a goat. The plan is executed. Jacob went to his father and said, "My father." "Yes, my son, who is it?" Jacob said to his father in his best Esau voice, "I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done as you told me. Please sit up and eat some of my game so that you may give me your blessing." Isaac asked his son, "How did you find it so quickly?" "The Lord your God gave me success," he replied. Then Isaac said to Jacob, "Come near so I can touch you, my son, to know whether you really are my son Esau or not." Jacob went close to his father Isaac, who touched him and said, "The voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau." He did not recognize him, we read, for his hands were hairy like those of his brother Esau, so he proceeded to bless him. "Are you really my son Esau?" he asked. "I am," he replied. Now, I know we're supposed to be cheering for Jacob here, but I find it difficult. Lies upon lies, deceptions upon deceptions, invoking even the name of God. Still, blind old Isaac seems to be seeing through the scheme. Isaac said, "My son, bring me some of your game to eat so that I may give you my blessing." Jacob brought it to him and he ate. He brought some wine and he drank. Then his father Isaac said, "Come here, my son, and kiss me." So he went to him and kissed him. We read, when Isaac caught the smell of his clothes, he blessed him. "Ah, the smell of my son is like the smell of a field that the Lord has blessed." In other words, he's hairy and he smells like manure. Must be Esau. So now the blessing is given. "May God give you heaven's dew and earth's richness and abundance of grain and new wine. Many nations serve you and peoples bow down to you. Be Lord over your brothers, and may the sons of your mother bow down to you. May those who curse you be cursed, and those who bless you be blessed." Well, there it is. Jacob is made Lord over his brothers who are to bow down to him. He also includes some of the language of the blessing God gave to Abraham. And what is important to understand here is that once this blessing has been given, it cannot be revoked. Our natural thought is, oh, well, then just do it again. No, it doesn't work that way. And Esau discovers that. We read, after Isaac finished blessing Jacob, and Jacob had scarcely left his father's presence, his brother Esau came in from hunting. He too prepared some tasty food and brought it to his father. And then he said to him, my father, please sit up and eat some of my game so that you may give me your blessing. His father Isaac asked him, who are you? I'm your son, he answered, your firstborn, Esau. Isaac trembled violently and said, who was it then that hunted game and brought it to me? I ate it just before you came. I blessed him. Indeed, he will be blessed. When Esau heard his father's words, he burst out with a loud and bitter cry and said to his father, bless me too, my father. But Isaac said, your brother came deceitfully and took your blessing. Deceitfully, there's that word, grasping, tripped us up. He grabbed us by the heel. So Esau, sobbing in sorrow and anger, asked if maybe there was some leftover blessing for him. And so Isaac said, your dwelling will be away from the earth's richness, away from the dew of heaven above. You will live by the sword. You will serve your brother. But when you grow restless, you will throw his yoke from off your neck. Well, not surprising then that Esau vows that once the old man is in his grave, he'll make sure that Jacob will be the next to die, and soon. And overhearing this, Rebekah has but one word for Jacob. Run! Run to Uncle Laban in that faraway land where Abraham's servant found me. And run he does, and little can Jacob guess who he'll meet along the way. Well, that's where the story ends. But the chapter has one additional verse. It says, then Rebekah said to Isaac, I am disgusted with living because of these Hittite women. If Jacob takes away from among the women of this land, from Hittite women like these, my life will not be worth living. It's really odd there. It seems to belong at the end of chapter 26, where we read, when Esau was 40 years old, he married Judith, daughter of Beeri the Hittite, and also Basemath, daughter of Elon the Hittite. They were a source of grief to Isaac and Rebekah. And so that verse itself would have been better at the end of chapter 25, but maybe the wily Rebekah is laying the groundwork for Jacob's absence. Where's Jacob, you say? Why, he's probably gone off to find a wife. I hope he does. You know what these Hittite girls are like. Don't you worry about it, Isaac. You calm down. One last component of their cunning plan. Will it work? Find out next time in chapter 28 of Reading the Bible Together. And we will see you then.